Don't be filled with that spirit of debauchery, but instead be filled with the Spirit of God. Don't open up yourself. Don't partake in these massive demonic parties led by or for a Dionysus entity. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm the Tattooed Preacher, and in this video, I want to chat about the question, why it's a sin to get drunk. Like, why does God go to great lengths throughout the Bible condemning the practice of getting drunk? Now, if you've grown up in church for any length of time, we all know the common answers as to why it's a sin to get drunk, right? Loss of self-control. It impairs your judgment. It causes you to neglect your responsibilities. It's, harmful to your body. You have a greater potential for sinful actions and behaviors, right? I mean, we've all heard these reasons. We all know that this is why we shouldn't get drunk. And those are all valid and good reasons. But here's the thing. Is that the only reason? Or are these the only reasons why? Or could there be something else that's going on, something deeper, something more significant as to why God doesn't want his kids to get drunk? Because there's a lot of people out there, critics of the Christian faith, who say, well, that's because your God is boring. Your God doesn't want you to have fun. Your God doesn't want you to enjoy yourself. These quote unquote sinful pleasures that Christians typically warn against are fully embraced by those who don't believe in God. And so they're like, see, God just doesn't want you having fun. Now, we all remember this guy right here. He was front cover of the Olympic ceremonies, this blue dude who's supposed to be the depiction of the Greek god Dionysus. Now, why am I bringing up this guy again? Well, if you do a deep dive into who this guy is, you'll discover that this he's a pretty influential god in the Greek pantheon. And he was reported, if you look at all the articles, after the opening ceremonies, when there was a massive uproar about what took place, reports and articles were coming out about this guy, how he's the god of celebration and the god of joy. And that this was supposed to symbolize and represent, this time where we can all as human beings come together, inclusive of everyone's ideologies, beliefs, minus the Christians, of course, but the inclusiveness of everyone's beliefs and gender identity and all this stuff. We're going to come together, have some massive party and celebration. And it's this Greek god Dionysus who is the chief proponent of it. And this is what it represented. And yes, that is a part of who this Greek god was. He's the god, partly the god of celebration and joy. But do you know what else he's the god of? When you study a bit more about this deity, Dionysus, well, he's also the god of, in a sense, partying, the god of chaos, the god of insanity. Because what would happen when people would have these massive parties, celebrations to this Greek god? It wasn't just that they came together having fun and to celebrate. Things got dark pretty quick. Insanity broke out. Violence took place. The most horrific sexual perverseness would transpire in these massive gatherings. This underneath the surface, this is who this god actually was when he was promoting celebration and joy, was ultimately to lead everybody down this dark path to just pure demonic behavior. Now, the Apostle Paul writes in Ephesians chapter 5, he says this. He says, "And do not get drunk with wine, for that is debauchery, but be filled with the Spirit. Now, Paul's writing to the church at Ephesus. The city of Ephesus was known for pagan worship, pagan idolatry, pagan practice, these kinds of parties. And there were these Dionysian cults that were in the city of Ephesus. And what they also believed, and it wasn't just that they came together and had these massive parties filled with just debauchery, reckless living, wild living, inebriated behavior that would turn your stomach. But what they actually believed is that when you drank alcohol, when you drank the wine and you became drunk, you opened up yourself then to be filled with entities. It was a way to shut off your brain, to then become vulnerable and become open and more receptive, to be filled with and to be possessed with, in essence, this Dionysus entity. For him to come in, take control of everyone present, and this is what ultimately led to just this dark, filled, crazed parties. And I believe that this is why, this is under it all, that this is what God was after. When he's saying, don't get drunk with wine, for that's debauchery. Don't be filled with that spirit of debauchery, but instead be filled with the Spirit of God. Don't open up yourself. Don't partake in these massive demonic parties led by or for the Dionysus entity, but instead refrain from that and be filled with the Spirit of God. This is why God really warns against drunkenness, not just because of the reasons that I listed at the beginning, not because it helps you to neglect your responsibilities or harms your body, or you have a greater potential for sinful action, or you lose self-control. All those things are true. But what you're doing is you're opening yourself up to being occupied, to being filled, to being possessed, to being heavily influenced, not just by the effects of wine or alcohol, but by actual demonic entities, giving them access into your lives. See, this is the reality. We live in a spiritual world. And if you're a believer, you are engaged in spiritual warfare. Now, there's enemies out there who want to take you out. And this is one of the ways in which they do that. This is what alcohol does. It dumbs you down. It numbs you to who you are, causes you then to be more receptive, to be more open, to partake in behaviors and actions and all this kind of stuff. And the alcohol just makes it seem easier to do, to engage. And this is what they believed. They had these massive parties that, under the guise of celebration and joy, but ultimately leading to literal, reckless living, wild, crazy parties that would literally turn your stomach with the kinds of things that would happen there. And so my encouragement to you today is, if you're watching this and you're not even a Christian, don't. This is why alcohol and drunkenness is dangerous and should not be done. Because what you're doing is you are creating a space for demonic entities to literally come in and inhabit your life. Well, that's it for this video. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know in the comments section below. And yeah, we will see you all in the next video. Much love and God bless.